Today on Vega Goose says, the final word on Mass Effect 3, Microsoft's latest 180, and a YouTube channel I think you'll all really enjoy. Let's get started. Mass Effect 3. Just the phrase sends gamers and geeks of all ages into a rage. We almost never talk about it here at HTL anymore, but now it's time to start. Now I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to start with the ending because obviously that was the largest controversy. I didn't expect the game to end nearly as happy as some of my fellow line holders. I expected we would find out the Crucible was a battery of sort for the first Reaper that controlled all the other ones. We'd find out that Harbinger had destroyed the battery to shut it off, and thus give himself free will. With it back, the Reapers would be under its control. It wouldn't have been a happy ending, sure, that would have been when you have made the choice. You could have tried to talk this thing into destroying the Reapers now that it has it back, telling it that it would eventually lose control again, or something along those lines. And honestly, I didn't hate the original ending as much as some people did. Oh, I was fucking pissed. Just not fuck Mass Effect pissed. I love the series way too much to give it up that quickly. Now, there were many other things about the game I think we should talk about. Let's go ahead and get started on our list of things. The first of which was Jessica Chobot being in the game. That never really bothered me as much as it did other people. I'm not really sure why it didn't bug me that much. It just didn't. Tally's face was another thing that brought a lot of contention to gamers. And while, yes, I do think it was half-assedly done, I don't think the design was terrible. I think the presentation could have been a lot better. Now, it's been almost a year since the extended cut was released, and it was almost as divisive as the ending itself if you don't remember it. I liked it myself. Now, is it perfect? No. But is it better? So much, yes. As per my personal favorite, I prefer Refusal just because there are no questions to be asked. That was the biggest problem with Mass Effect 3 in my opinion. It had what I called the Final Fantasy XIII syndrome. Way too many of the questions you'd ask were said in game, I don't know. And that's never good, particularly when you're ending a trilogy. Now, as per Mass Effect 4, where I think the series is going, I really don't think... Now, I've heard some people say they think it's going to end up being a first-person shooter. I really don't think they're going to go that route with it. I don't. I'm not saying they won't. I'm just thinking that they won't, just because I think they'll lose the rest of their fan base if they did. Now, I'm hopeful that they say take maybe a couple centuries jump into the story. Because that'd be a good way to bypass a lot of the questions that people had, and a good way to give a fresh start to the story. I'm really hoping it's not a prequel, although that's still a possibility. We'll have to see when the game finally comes out. Now, that's probably going to be the last time I bring up Mass Effect 3 ever again. Unless for some reason, I'm still doing this when Mass Effect 4 comes out, then of course I'll have to talk about it. But otherwise, that's probably going to be about it. The last couple weeks, Microsoft has really been on a whirlwind. It started off with the Xbox One reveal. Let's just say it didn't go well. Gamers, websites, publications, they were mad going into all the details of the new console, and more importantly, into all the restrictions that it would imply. As of E3, those restrictions were still in place, and many gamers were very, very disappointed when they had all those restrictions and PlayStation did not. Now, you can give them any excuse you want as to why they decided to reverse their DRM decision, but the bottom line is, money talks. You can go to Amazon, you can look up, you can talk to anybody at any GameStop or Best Buy, anywhere pre-ordering was done, and you'll know that PlayStation was up 3-1 at least on Microsoft before this reversal. Hell, even the Wii U was up 2-1 in many markets. Now, since the DRM reversal, we have seen an upsurge in Xbox One sales. While it's not particularly surprising, I would urge caution because just because Microsoft is doing the right thing right now, don't be under some illusion they're doing it for their customers. They're doing it for their wallets. Bottom line is, like I said, money talks and bullshit walks. And they knew if they didn't change it, they weren't going to make hardly any money on this. In fact, that was the entire problem with the Microsoft issue. The online thing was annoying, sure, but people could have gotten past it. The big issue with the DRM was the whole check-in station, was the whole used games not actually existing anymore, and was the fact that you didn't own your game anymore. That's what pissed most of us off. But I'll be the first to admit, as one of their harsher critics, Well done, you did a great job. This was exactly what you needed to do to put gamers first again. Regardless of the reasoning behind the decision, it was a great decision, and I'm very happy you made it. This will allow the conversation to not become how bad is the Xbox One, but allows an actual debate as to what console you should get, the Wii U, the PlayStation, or the Xbox. Speaking of, there is one console I have not really done much about talk-wise, and that is the Wii U. Now, E3 was a week ago, and Nintendo, while not having a press conference, released a huge laundry list of new games coming out for both their portable and main systems. This blindsided most of the industry, who expected Nintendo to all but be a no-show at this particular event. I, for one, was particularly surprised, and was actually quite enthused by what I saw. Yes, it's the same series we've seen, just simply gone over again. That's the thing about Nintendo. They don't have to do much to impress us. You see, they're a company kind of like the video game version of Disney. They got us when we were young, and when someone has your childhood by the short hairs, it's never going away. I don't care how hardcore you think you are or whatever. When you see Mario, you're instantly a kid again. It reminds you of when life was simple, better times. Same thing with Zelda or Mega Man or any of those classic characters. There's not anything wrong with that. It's just you have to be willing to admit that to yourself. Whether or not Nintendo has fallen on hard times, that's debatable. However, the bottom line is, as long as there's a Nintendo system that has these games, there will be thousands, if not millions, lining up to play them. I think Nintendo did a very good job for the material they had. I do wish they had been able to have a legitimate press conference like Sony and Microsoft did, because I really think this would have done exceedingly well. However, for the idea they had, I think they did a great job. This is going to be a new segment for Vega Goose Says. So I'm going to recommend a YouTube channel, a channel other than ours that I believe you guys really like if you like this one. And my first recommendation is a YouTube channel that is called The Screen Team. Now, if you've never heard of them, just know they do song parodies, they do funny little pranks and things of this nature. And frankly, they're hysterical. So if I can help get them a couple of views, I'm happy to do it. I highly advise you to check it out. Their channel's link will be in the description of this video. Now, we'll be doing this with every episode, picking a channel and highlighting it for the gamer community. As you may have figured out, Hold the Line is trying to expand ourselves just slightly, rather than just being video game centric, but to cover all of the geek culture. And I say geek in the highest possible complimentary way. Finally, if you have a story you'd like to see featured, or like something you'd like to hear my opinion about, please comment below, let me know. And until next time, my name is Vega Goose saying I'll see you on the next Vega Goose Says.